landed our country into a complete crisis. On this day of June 10, we need to remember who we are and take inspiration from this day. An inspiration that will make us dedicate ourselves again to fighting a battle between now up to December 7, 2024 to rescue the soul of this beautiful nation. And right from mainland Europe, we join in with our comrades who are in mainland Ghana, united as one to rescue our country. The Mahama is a tough job ahead of you. But on behalf of the NDC, on behalf of the millions of our people, we want to let you know that the party will stand behind you 100% plus. Stand behind you through this journey of winning and beyond this journey to starting the reconstruction of our country again. It's a very sad and painful thing. I mean, to work hard and continue on the legacy of Kwame Nkrumah, the legacy of J. Lawrence, the legacy of Prof. Mills, and with minimal resource, managed to build so much for our country across the length and breadth in every sector of our economy. The kind of massive investment that has been done. And to see our country effectively brought back to their knees, it's so painful. Mr. Mahama, I don't know envy you at all, because it's I will personally feel that much pain to work so hard and then to see everything done, brought back, and now having to go back to work again. But possibly that's the Lord God has given you, and we pray that God will help you to deliver to you. Comrades, anytime we sing what our brother, the chairman of Netherlands said, it's our power song, or that revolutionary song. We use the words, cadence may go, cadence may come, but the revolution has come to stay. That revolution, sometimes we tend to think it's all about what happened on June 4, the uprising that happened on June 4. But the revolution is far more than that. That revolution is exactly what this party started from 1992. Bringing this country together. And anytime you watch this beautiful logo, this beautiful symbol of our party, it tells you about bringing a nation together. North, south, east, and west, united in one. With this beautiful bird, showing our capacity to see the vision, to see the big picture for our nation, and to be able to lead this nation towards the destiny the founding fathers imagined for them. And that is what this party is about. This party started as a party that had a united nation behind it. In the first election in 1992, we won 9 out of 10 regions in Ghana. In the second election, we won 9 out of 10 regions in Ghana. Why? Because we were seen as a party that totally united this country and was the means by which the transformation of our country can happen. I would say over time, there has been attrition. And that attrition has happened because we've had opponents who have decided to turn this whole business into some tribal war. That's what is happening. Some tribal war. But in our party, it's always been a party that brought together everyone. Regardless of where you come from, we consider you as true sons and daughters of the land. That's why we started with a founder that came from the voter region. And then came up with the next leader that came from the greater Account family. And the next leader that came, let's say, representing the northern family. It tells you that we embrace everyone. go down the path our opponent want, which is simply to destroy this country and make it a tribal nation. And we must, as a party, continue to fight for the unity of all. The battle ahead is a tough battle. Anybody who tells you it's an easy battle, the person is underrated. It's a very tough battle. It's a tough battle because even though everything shows that our opponents have totally failed, we are dealing with a group that will do anything for power. Anything for power. Anything for power. So therefore, we must be prepared for the worst. That is why, right from the very top, all the way to the last person in our branches, we must build a core of people who are dedicated, who understand that there is a need to fight the battle, not only for the sake of the NDC, but for the very soul of our country. NDC is going to do anything, throw money at anybody. Already they have literally destroyed all the key institutions. They've done what you call a weaponization of the institutions of our country. The least said about Supreme Court, the better. The least said about Electoral Commission, the better. So it tells you the forces are really marshaled against us. But for the sake of God, for the sake of Chronicle, for the sake of Jedediah, for the sake of Atamius, and for the sake of all the ancestors of our life, light will shine again. So we want to thank you and ask you to continue working with us. You represent a body that we can work with to get great ideas for our nation. Scattered all over, you are able to leverage all the experience you have in the different parts of Europe. We happen to have also, I think, one or two who also come from the US. So basically leveraging all these experiences, all the networks, all the opportunities, all the know-how. Because we are going to be needing that desperately come 2025 going forward. Networks, opportunities, ideas, in order to be able to unleash the creativity of our people. Because as opposed to the past, where we easily borrow large money in order to be able to transform and develop our country, we are handicapped. Then, from 2025 upwards to about 2027, we're going to have very little room even for borrowing. So it therefore means some capacity for creativity, some solutions. So we are going to be needing you in order to do so. I'm not going to speak much longer because the keynote speaker is here. But just to tell you that we thank you, we appreciate all that you're doing. After a sing-off, hopefully, we'll win. The real journey begins. Because from the time I've become General Secretary to now, it's been one administrative issue after the other. We've not really been started the real, what I love the most, which is sitting down for strategy, for thinking, for long-term planning. So nothing has really begun to say. So we look forward, when that moment comes, you in the diaspora, we're going to be needing you a lot, because that is the area where your strategy, your ideas, and leverages and so are going to happen. So thank you once again, and God bless you.
At this moment, I'm more motivated to start the song again. Revo, Revo, can you just revolution? That's a long way to go, but it's time to stay. Once again, Revo, Revo, revolution. Has a long way to go, but it's come to stay. Thank you very much. I think one thing I picked from his message was I had a call from one guy from Ashanti region. Okay, then for another place is also Eastern region for now. And I'm going to be only here. Okay, planting for food and jobs. I don't see a bravo. I am also there. You know, a big minister said, "Body, I'm so you see, you can lie your way to power, but the evidence, you know, it will expose you." Honorable President. The secretary doesn't have me jail. So at this point, I don't want to be in your shoes. Kindly join me here, please. Because you'll be the best person to introduce your boss than me. Let's go introduce your boss to the Amsterdam European Chapter and NDC.
Well, thank you very much, MC. Well, I have a rather unusual task of introducing a man who is very well known to everyone, but it is important to recognize the fact that we are at the crossroads as a country, and therefore there is a need for some salvation. And this salvation requires the most experienced hand, the most competent hand, a hand that is packed with strength and the requisite energy, a hand that can lead in a manner that ensures that the salvation is achieved. And after a lengthy restructuring process within the party and various elections held at various branches, the rank and file of the NDC decided that they needed to put our very best foot forward. And so they settled on His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to hold the mantle and lead us into the battle of 2024, which is not any ordinary battle, but a battle for the very soul of our country. So the Lord fell on him, and he has already begun work to ensure that we secure resounding victory come 2024. So his presence here is one more manifestation of his commitment to ensuring that the party is organized at all levels to stand us in good stead to secure the victory that we all desire. So I have the unique pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, of introducing to you the incoming president of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
The victory of NDC is coming again. We had a lot of revolutionary songs for those of us who were cadets. And somehow, Revo Revo has emerged again and has become very popular, especially with the young people. But there were other songs, and one of them I remember is Aluta. I don't know the cadets here. It was Fatima, Aluta continua. Hey, Aluta continua. Continua. Okay, there are many cadets here. There's a man that said, hey, Aluta, free the mind, free the mind, free the mind. I mean, these songs were very inspiring, you know. And so we shouldn't resurrect only Rebel, we should resurrect all the other songs that we should lift our spirits and make us do the kinds of things that we did.
The nation.
Thank you very much. General Secretary, Honorable Fifi Kwete, Director of International Relations, the Honorable Alex Secretary, Chairpersons of our various NDC EU chapters, comrades, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and let me first thank all of you, both the chapter and branch executives and members from our various EU countries, for making the sacrifice and time to gather here in Amsterdam for 3 days to discuss the future of our party, the NDC, and how we can contribute towards an emphatic victory in December 2024. We're close again to rescheduling this session once more because of the impending Asenov by-election. But it is good that we decided to come and push ahead with this event, as this is also a significant gathering for strategizing towards victory in the polls of 2024. Comrades, I bring you greetings from your compatriots in Ghana, whom I had the privilege yet again to visit and interact with across all the 276 constituencies during the just ended primaries. That exercise has contributed to reinvigorating our executives and members at the grassroots. It allowed us to take our message to them and the people in their constituencies, reminding them that the National Democratic Congress remains the political party to trust when it comes to the total development and welfare of the citizens of Ghana. It is therefore our duty to rededicate ourselves to work with absolute commitment in our branches to ensure the maximum votes to guarantee a very resounding victory in 2024. I want to repeat that we must go to the polls on December 7th, 2024 with our own referee. That referee will be our diligence, our alertedness, our preparedness, and winning the election emphatically, I insist. Our 2020 election comeback, raising the number of our seats from 106 to 137, and increasing our votes by almost 1.4 million votes, resulted from the dedication and hard work of all of us and the support of the people of Ghana. Ghanaians have seen the difference and believe in our message, which in 2020 was conveyed by our People's Manifesto. Comrades, we did not become the majority party in Parliament. We were also not declared the winners of the 2020 presidential elections because we left some loose ends untied in what was a bizarre election during the COVID restrictions and the economic meltdown of 2020. And that is why in 2024, we must rededicate ourselves to make our victory emphatic. As I have said before, we do not believe in going to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to be at the polling stations and the collation centers. As leader and flag bearer, I offer my firm pledge and assurance that I will work with the party's leadership, represented here today by the General Secretary, to build a formidable team and deploy strategies and mechanisms to ensure that we protect the votes of the teeming mass of Ghanaians who have determined to vote for us in 2024. And hardship that has been inflicted on them by the reckless and clueless Akufo-Addo administration. These Ghanaians are yearning to be freed from the shackles of poverty and hardship inflicted on them by the reckless and clueless Akufo-Addo, Bawumia administration. Most Ghanaians are ready to work with us to build the Ghana we all want together. When I spoke at the commemoration of the 44th anniversary of the June 4 uprising in Hohoe last Sunday, I likened the 2024 elections to a peaceful and democratic revolution, which will free our country and our people from the clutches of misrule from a mediocre, reckless, and incompetent government. What we are gathered here to do is a declaration of our intent by those of us here in the diaspora to join up with the broad masses of Ghanaians in the collective push to dislodge this administration through peaceful, free, and fair elections in 2024. This is an absolute national imperative, and we cannot and must not fail the people of Ghana. It has been 7 years of corruption, 7 years of waste, 7 years of arrogance, 7 years of impunity, and 7 years of nepotism, 7 years of abuse of office, 7 years of human rights violations, and worst of all, 7 years of economic mismanagement. 7 years of economic reckless management of the economy has rendered our people broken and struggling from one day to the other just to survive. The Ghanaian economy is now classified amongst the worst managed in the world, and we are currently in the same basket as countries like Sri Lanka. Ghana, our beloved country. Ghana, Nkrumah's country. Inflation is at a record high, impacting the prices of essential goods and services and has escalated an already severe cost of living crisis. Our currency, the Ghanaian cedi, has suffered one of its steepest declines in decades, and a few months ago was considered one of the worst performing currencies in the world. Businesses are stressed and are being pushed to the brink, with quite a number of them left with no choice but to either fold up or relocate to our neighboring countries. The Bank of Ghana has exacerbated the problem. It has blatantly breached its financial threshold by printing over 40 billion Ghana cedis to finance the government of Ghana's budget deficit. In the last 2 years, we have suffered downgrade after downgrade to junk status by all the international credit rating agencies, and we are finally defaulted on our domestic and external debt repayments. The unilateral insensitive debt restructuring program has seen over 80 billion Ghana cedis lent by millions of Ghanaians to the government through the purchase of the government of Ghana bonds expropriated. This has caused severe dislocation in the livelihoods of many pensioners and middle-class Ghanaians, including persons in the diaspora. It has led to the depressing sight of aged pensioners picketing at the Ministry of Finance to demand their meager sums of money. Local businesses, especially contractors and other government service providers, are owed tens of billions of Ghana cedis, whose value continues to dwindle every day, following the government's inability or unwillingness to pay them. Government can also not meet all statutory payments, and many of the earmarked funds are in arrears. And by this I mean Jet Fund, NHIL, and other such statutory funds. If you go to a hospital today in Ghana and you have an NHIL card, you don't get any service. Not even paracetamol you won't get from the hospital. be all too familiar with this story. All this would have been entirely avoidable if this government heeded sound counsel from us in the opposition and other notable voices in civil society and academia at the right time. The deliberate concealment of the actual situation through creative accounting and under declaration of figures has combined with excessive and wasteful expenditure to hasten the inevitable catastrophe that we are witnessing. Ultimately, too little was done too late, as our economy has so deteriorated that an IMF program could only be secured by accepting the harshest conditionalities possible. To obtain an IMF program, Ghanaians have had to pay a disproportionate price. Domestic bondholders have been given severe and painful haircuts, despite the assurance of the President Nana Akufo-Addo that there will be no haircuts. Atuforsen had said they were going to receive haircuts, and the President responded there will be no haircuts. Now today we know he was not speaking the truth. The consequences of these haircuts have been grave for the financial sector. The financial health of Ghanaian banks has eroded and will undermine the financial sector's performance with attendant job losses. Insurance companies and pension funds also invested in government bonds, and they are also bound to suffer, just as individuals who depend on pension payments for survival will also suffer. In addition to this already hostile economic environment, multiple taxes have been slapped on Ghanaians in the last 2 years alone. Over 23 other tax measures will make life even more unbearable for our people. Steep increases in cost of utilities are increasing the burden on businesses and individuals. And if you've been following, there was an increase of 29% in electricity bills, and just recently another 8.9% has been slapped on top. Import duties and excise duties have shot through the roof. No wonder the Tema and Takoradi ports have lost huge volumes of traffic, while Togo and Benin ports continue to be busy and receiving goods that actually have come through Ghanaian ports. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the burning topics for discussion in Ghana today is the rate at which we are losing our professionals, trained at great expense to other countries, especially in the medical field. You've heard about the migration of nurses abroad. I sympathize with the Ghanaian youth. Their feeling of despair and hopelessness is unprecedented in our history. They are now looking for the slightest opportunity to leave our shores in search of greener pastures, even risking their very lives to cross the Sahara and the Mediterranean. The question we should ask ourselves is, how will we work to bring back hope in Ghanaians in the face of these daily challenges? As the most viable alternative, we in the NDC have demonstrated the capacity to rise to the occasion by our record in government. In the past, we have reset our country's trajectory and returned it into an appreciable state of health. We have a duty to our country to lead the charge for change again and bring relief to the long-suffering people of Ghana. Comrades, it will be presumptuous of us to think that this will come quickly, or that the abysmal depths to which the MPP has sunk governance guarantees us an automatic victory at the polls. We must first earn the trust of Ghanaians. A significant section of voters has grown skeptical and are wary of our democracy and its benefits because of their unmet expectations and the spectacular failure of this particular administration. And so when you go to Ghana today, you hear many people say, I don't vote, I don't need to vote, because of the very abysmal failure of this government. It means that they believe that democracy is not working for them. I urge you all to remember that through our actions and the policy platforms, we must canvas, demonstrate the difference between our service in government and the nightmarish example that MPP has set in Ghana. We have been in power, and our record is there for all to see. We do not claim perfection, but we in NDC can never ever be like the MPP. We simply cannot be compared with the MPP. And we are not as reckless and contemptuous of the people of Ghana as the MPP has been these last 7 years. We have never been and will not be as wasteful, ostentatious, and as imprudent as the MPP has been in power. We are committed to operating a lean government that avoids the MPP's extravagance and get the job done more efficiently with fewer people. Nothing in Ghana's political history compares the level of economic mismanagement that the MPP has superintended these last few years. The NDC believes in substantive offerings, carefully considered and curated to stand the test of time, while comprehensively resolving some of our most complex challenges. We have no intention of taking the mandate of the people of Ghana for granted. We know we're going against an incumbent that has proven that it is prepared to shed the blood of its own citizens to hang on to power. And they amply demonstrated this at Ayawasu West Wagon by-election and the last 2020 elections, where 8 of our compatriots were killed. And then there is an electoral commission whose neutrality in this electoral contest is questionable. Our work is therefore cut out for us. We must get off our marks immediately and convince Ghanaians that we are prepared to govern in addition to our superior record than that of the MPP. The first step towards doing that is proving that we can manage our internal affairs, which is why this European conference is very significant. This conference offers a platform for us to share unique insights into better organizational strategies and innovative approaches to mobilizing the people of Ghana for a resounding victory in 2024. So I equal to all the organizers and all the chapters who have gathered here from Europe. And thank you very much for what you've done. The NDC proudly values your contribution towards the running of the party and the brilliant perspectives you bring to the table on essential governance matters. And for those of you who are not here, we had a very fruitful meeting with the executives this morning. We briefed them on what was going on back home, and they also raised some of their concerns to us. The party also acknowledges your concerns about participation in elections and governance. Of particular concern to you have been the constitutional impediments to persons holding dual citizenship and the occupation of some positions in government in Ghana. Only a few weeks ago, we suffered what we considered grave injustice when our Member of Parliament for Asen North was thrown out of Parliament by the Supreme Court on grounds that we find entirely unsatisfactory. I previously indicated that one of the things I will do when elected president in 2024 will be to fast-track the clarification of the constitutional provision on allegiance that bars our dual citizens from holding some offices in Ghana. I call on our Speaker, Honorable Sumana Bagbin, and the Parliament of Ghana to do the needful so that Ghana can benefit fully from the expertise that our citizens have garnered during their sojourn abroad. Another matter which I know concerns you and on which I would like to offer some clarity concerning NDC's position is ROPA. We in the NDC have not been opposed to ROPA in principle. We have kicked against the potential of selective and inequitable implementation of ROPA that lends itself to exploitation by the incumbent party and to the unfair detriment of opposition parties. We have said, and that's the NDC's position, if ROPA is ever to be implemented, it should be implemented for every Ghanaian living everywhere outside Ghana. As far as we are concerned, a Ghanaian living in Europe or America should not have a greater right to vote than one living in Asia or in Africa. We in the NDC will not countenance an attempt or conspiracy between the NPP and the Electoral Commission to implement a lopsided ROPA that favors the NPP. When we see that a level playing field will be created for all Ghanaians living anywhere outside the country to have the right to vote, we will be more than willing to support such a move. We continue to value your contributions to the development of Ghana, even as life's vicissitudes have ensured that you reside in far and distant lands to either ply your trade and earn a living or pursue some form of personal development. I'm confident that the deliberations we started yesterday will ultimately inure to the benefit of the NDC and provide further impetus to our preparations to salvage the fortunes of our country, which are presently in great peril. We back at home are doing our bit as well and strengthening the cooperation between the national and external branches of our party. Comrades, our meeting today, June 10th, coincides with the 31st anniversary of the formation of our great party, the National Democratic Congress. I wish to stand on your behalf and on my own behalf to extend our congratulations to the founding fathers and mothers of our party and to us all who continue to build and hold the party aloft across the 40,000 branches of our party in Ghana. We acknowledge all our lost comrades in the struggle, and especially our founder, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, retired, former President Professor John Evans Atamils, and my former Vice President, Pa Kwesi Bekwin Emisarata. Later this month, on the 29th, will be the memorial of the late Emisarata, and we hope to join the family at any event to remember his work and contributions to building a better Ghana. On July 24th, we will also celebrate the memory of the late Asundwe Hene, as we have annually done. And it's my intention on that day, as part of the commemoration, to remind Ghanaians of his contribution to Ghana in various forms and how we can learn from him to step up the development of our country in the wake of the deaths to which the NPP has sunk us. Together with his family and the people of Keita, and we're still in consultation, and the larger NDC family, we must hold a gathering in November to celebrate the memory of our late founder, Jerry Rawlings, in his own native town of Keita. As you remember, the family in Keita had wanted to hold a funeral for him, but the government prevented them from doing so on the excuse of COVID. Recently, the president has declared COVID over, so nothing stands in the way of the family holding a funeral for him, so that his soul will rest in perfect peace. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your kind attention. I wish all of us a successful conference. May God bless NDC, may God bless our homeland Ghana, and may God bless all our chapters in the European Union. I thank you very much. God bless you.
God bless you. God bless you.
Let's acknowledge the speech of His Excellency.
Your Excellency, please,
we can do it better. Can we give
We want questions. We want questions. We want questions. Questions.
No, this
Please, we just have a little more time on our side. We will take two questions from this side. First, or the first two sessions, just two questions. Please, when you ask your question, be very brief, go straight to the question. Go straight to the question. We'll take the two questions here. His Excellency will provide an answer right in front of us here, and then we'll go to the next side. If you have a question, please put up your hand and then give the opportunity. Okay, I'll take one lady and one gentleman. So please, let's start with the lady.
We have questions.
Good afternoon, sirs. Ladies and gentlemen, I greet all of you. I have a big question that is bothering me. There was a time ladies called themselves slave queens. They started talking bad about our president. And this went viral, and we all believe that what they were saying about him was true. Because the president didn't take any action against them. Now we have heard that they are planning again to come and do the same thing. Please, sir, are you going to do something about that for us? Because we are worried. When we hear them disgracing you, calling you names, we don't like it. And those girls are, your wife is beautiful than all of them. Our security.
Please, we have just less than 20 minutes.
15.
We will not take stories. I beg you, go straight to the question.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Osu Mensa. I stand in here for the Ghanaian diaspora or Ghanaians abroad. If you look through the city, you can see canals all over. And Ghana, always when there's a flood, either rain or Bagre and Weather Dam, it floods all the villages. I beg, we are the diasporans here who have come together. I've heard the first speaker saying we should bring our ideas together to come and help build the nation. Okay, now we've put in everything on in a form of a petition, so I'll present it to you to look through and see that we are here, we've traveled all over the globe, and we've come together on the network www.dbnglobal.org, whereby all the ideas we've gotten outside, we've come together and we want to come and help. But at the moment we bring our machines and other things at the port, they will just take it and then sell it at a auction. So now we have everything here. We are in touch with the government here, and we can bring in the experts to come and cut canals all over the place where the Bagri Dam and other dams flow to fall out. Okay, I'll end up by telling you, I'm the first person to build wind-powered electricity generator in my village, and I have every document here. I'm going to present to you.
So thank you very much. No, we are taking two from this side. I'm taking two here, and then we'll have a response. Dr. Tama.
Mr. President, I belong to the school of thought who can never call you an ex-president, because I belong to the school of thought who believe that you never lost the elections of 2020. You were wrong of your election. Now, my question is, how are you going to defend, prevent this stealing that is done to you? Then,
very brief one. There's a lady sign. Yes, please. So take two. Please, just a very short one. Mention your name, the country you come from, and then ask your question. Let's be very brief.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency the President. I'm a leader of 3 different global organizations. Please, my question has been answered to the first 2 questions. And what is baffling me is Ghana is smelling of the sanitation in Ghana is very poor. I think 2009, the King of Netherlands and the family went to Ghana, and what we heard was Ghana is stinky. And so Ghana is stinky. When you pass through Tema Station, that's like the gutters everywhere. From Kolebu to that side, Ghana is stinky, so stinky. Please, the President, we are pleading with you because it disgraces the image of Ghanaians. And secondly, all our social media platforms are full of insults to the extent that our leaders are insults, using profane words and all this kind of discipline and good morals is out of the country. We don't know, we are pleading with you, what are you going to do about that one? And then the Sakawa or rituals, to the extent that the children are killing themselves. So we plead with the government to help us this way. Thank you very much.
TV station.
Thank you.
Original father.
Slave queens. You see, whatever happens, I believe in the saying that vindication lies in the bosom of time.
Yeah.
And I am Mr. Posterity. Posterity will judge people. It's not only slave queens, it's about so many things. Hotels in Dubai, I mean, you heard all those stories. You see, the problem too is, they bait you. And if you respond, it gives more oxygen for them to continue. And so there are some of these things, you don't get distracted by them. Eventually, you'll be vindicated. People will realize that there actually was no real truth in what was happening. And so, as a politician in the stature that I am, if I want to respond to every allegation made against me, there's no way I would have time to lead us to victory.
Yeah. Perfect answer.
Floods. We all know the engineering prowess of Netherlands when it comes to water control. The whole of this country is below sea level, and yet they're able to keep the sea out of Netherlands. And so it's a good point he made. We've been struggling with this engineering against floods, and it's become worse. Now, places that didn't used to flood when we were in government, the least rainfall, they get flooded. One, because they are not desilting the drains at the right time, and 2, they've built in waterways even more than it existed before. The geology of Accra is that you have the Kwapim mountain range to the north, and then you have the sea to the south. Now, before Accra became the capital, there were just small villages, and there were all these streams, Sakumo, there were all kinds of different streams, Odo, Densu, and all of them flowing from the mountains to the sea. And so anytime it rained in the mountains, those were the channels by which the water got to the sea. Then come the capital of Ghana, Accra, built in this waterway. And so it blocks the water that is coming from up the mountain. And that is Accra's major problem. And like you're saying, it's expensive, but the only solution will be to create channels for the water to be able to pass. They already have channels, but people have built and restricted the channels so much that the water has nowhere to go when it overflows its banks. And so it's going to be expensive, but it needs an engineering solution and a human solution. And the human solution is that it links to the other question about sanitation. That one, we must change our own attitude of throwing things into the drains. People drink water and they think that the gutters are the places for dumping their plastics and all that. We throw plastics all over the place. When it rains, it washes them into the drains. A lot of people come from abroad and ask me, why do you do open gutters? Because when we do underground drains, they get blocked. Because a lot of things go into the drains. You put metal grating to prevent obstacles from going into the drain. People will come and remove the metal grating and go and sell it to iron recycling companies. And so all the plastics and the wood and the grass will go under to the underground drain. And once the underground drain gets blocked, there's no way you can unblock it unless you dig into it and open it up again. You know, and attitudes and engineering are the two things that will relieve us from flooding. And so it's going to be expensive, but we need to do something about it. In the past, philanthropic people have tried to help. Like when I was in office, my brother, was doing the Odor drain. For the first time, we didn't know that silt had taken up more than half of the drain. Because for those of you who've done geography, rivers in their lower courses dump silt. And so you must always clear the silt out of the drain. And we had paid lip service to clearing it superficially, and the silt had grown to about half the drain. So a little volume of water that goes into the drain, because it doesn't have the capacity to carry, it overflows and floods. And so for the first time, we put bulldozers and excavators into the drain itself and scooped so much silt. And that's when we realized that the drain was far deeper than we had thought. And the people who built it also made a ramp so that machines could go in and desilt the place. The ramps were covered, we didn't know. For the first time, we realized that there were off ramps to be able to move machines in there and take the silt out. But again, MPP propaganda. They said that giving my brother a 200 million Ghana cedi contract to desilt the drain, and they kept at it, even though we said he was doing it free of charge. They kept at it until he also got angry, and he said he wouldn't do it again. So he left. And after they came into office, there's nothing that shows that I'd given him a contract or paid him any money for the sacrificial work he was doing. And so they've now awarded it on contract to a private company for hundreds of millions of cedis. But that's how our opponents are, and we just need to keep moving on. How do we prevent stealing in elections? We are doing a lot of work. And I told the executive this morning, and in my speech, I said that there were some loose ends that we needed to tie. I didn't want to go into details and explain what we're doing, but we're doing a lot of work. You can ask the General Secretary and everybody. Recently we went to Kumaru and we held a by-election. And somebody came and was ranting and raving, and NDC, you can't collect your results. We're just quiet, because we're not going to tell you that we got our results before the MPP got theirs. We have fixed things, and I can assure you that we're going to appoint an elections directorate. They're going to train the people, because there are two factors in elections collation: the human factor, and then how to transmit the results once you've got it. You can have the best Eurospace transmission setup. If you feed it with garbage, you will get garbage. So aside from the transmission system, you need the right caliber of people to be at those polling stations. Yep. And so we're recruiting our ex-appointees, we're recruiting our training students who have finished university, we are recruiting all dedicated people who we can train properly. You can be the best educated. If you don't understand the electoral system, you go and sit there and you won't know what is happening. And so all of them must go through training. But at least ex-appointees and our ex-staying and others, we know that they are committed to the party and they've shown they are committed to the party, and so we can trust them to do what we want them to do. But we need to train them to be able to do so. If by then ROPA hasn't come and some of you are able, come and register with us, we'll train you, and we'll send you to your polling stations, and you go there and be polling assistance for us, so that we can collate our results as quickly as possible. But I can assure you a lot of work is being done. Unfortunately, 2020, because of the restrictions on movement caused by COVID, we started the training late in September. And so we could do only one wave of training. We couldn't do a lot of character checks. You have to check the background of the people who are going to stay there. You realize recently in Kumaru what happened. A pink sheet was signed in advance before the results, the voting had even taken place. And it was our vigilance that exposed it. And so it shows you that rather than be a disadvantage, we are rather on top of our brief now. And so we've trained people, they know what to look for, and when they go and look out for it, if our opponents are trying to use any means to manipulate the elections, we'll be able to find out. And sanitation. We had sanitation under the Ministry of Local Government. And sanitation was the prime responsibility of the local government. Because you cannot do sanitation properly from a centralized position. Sanitation must be the responsibility of the authorities at the grassroots level. And so we had a more decentralized system of sanitation, and the district assemblies common fund used to go regularly. And so the district assemblies had a little money to ensure that in the morning women were sweeping on the streets and all that. For those of you who have been there before, you wake up in the morning at 4 a.m. and you see some people sweeping the streets. Everybody has a number of kilometers to sweep in the morning. By 6 you come, the place is clean. But now this has all been centralized into one system. And so it's not working perfectly. NDC believes in decentralization. So when we come, we're going to decentralize it again and make it the responsibility of the assemblies. So that if we come to your assembly area and your assembly area is dirty, we can sanction you, the district chief executive. Somebody must be held responsible before things will happen.
Yes, thank you.
Social media is not only Ghana, it's the whole world. You know, social media grants a certain anonymity to people. And when people are anonymous, they can say all kinds of things, you know, ethnic sentiments, religious bias, and all that. And it's a very difficult thing to check. We're not the only people struggling with it. In America and everywhere, everybody is struggling to find out how they can avoid it. In America, they have it even worse. Racism, hate speech, and all that is on social media. And so it's something that we need to continue to see how we can educate people to know that social media was introduced, the new media was introduced to do positive things for society, not to degrade morality in society. You go and you see pornography, they use it to promote all kinds of liberal forces. And so it is a problem that we all have to grapple with. I don't have the solution. They insulted me to high heaven. Nobody got arrested.
Nope.
But now, people are arrested for insulting the president. And I don't know, but we'll see what goes on. Thank you very much.
Okay, please, we just have a little, 15 minutes to leave this place. Sorry, you put down your hands. We are privileged that this morning we had an opportunity to take photographs with His Excellency. The chiefs and the Queen Mothers who have joined us, right after this, you will join us upstairs. You also take a photograph with His Excellency, and then we are good to go. Now we're going to take only 2 questions. 2 questions. And unfortunately, I have to give a privilege to any of the chiefs or the Queen Mothers.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, my name is Nana Otomako Edubofo. And my question is, and this is $1 million question a lot of people are asking.
without getting any result or answer. But today I think I will get it from the office map. And the question is, this government, people in this government have misused our money, stolen our money. A lot of friends used to ask me, what is NDC doing when they come to power? So, Mr. President, I just wanted to know that, are you going to be bold to bring all these people injustice? Thank you.
Can I say something for the youth? Excuse me. Can I say something for the youth? Can I say something? Can I say something?
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is now Paul Macron. Yapas now Nefeva Traditional Council. I just want to encourage our brothers in Europe. I think 2012, I was on the platform with my dear brother to campaign for him. I was very boldly at Mandela Park when NDC was a candidate. I think I stood on the platform campaigning for President King. Because President Park were talking and it was dark. So I was on the platform. So what I want to tell our people that you should be brave. We live in Europe here. Don't say, if I'm in Europe, so if I go to Ghana, you suppose the campaign time come, then you say, oh, you are afraid to come out boldly to stand on the platform and campaign our candidate. You people have to take the doubt out of it. So for me, I'm a chief, and everybody in Ghana know my stand. Even 1992, when NDC was formed. Yeah, 1992, when NDC was formed, I did the same thing in Tamale. All my motorbike, everything was NDC color, was speakers. That time, Cambodia, I don't know, Cambodia was a So please, my dear brothers and sisters, kings and queen mothers, please, if you have the time and the campaign time comes, you have the opportunity to be in Ghana, please, let's try and do it.
Come on, female.
Thank you. Let me take the chief's contribution first. And it was actually a contribution, it was not a question. He says he will be bold to go and help the party, and he was giving examples of what he himself had done. And so you're all encouraged to come back and come and help in the heat of the campaign. And then also if you are able to, some of you are able to vote. So if you let
that
us
question I would like to ask, but
polling stations, we will deploy you, we will train you, and deploy you as the agents at the polling station. I know that with you at the polling station, nobody can influence you to we have two categories of chiefs, and the chiefs that are mentioned in the constitution are said to be those who have black stools or something, or skins or something. Because recently the Supreme Court has ruled that chiefs are constitutionally barred from endorsing candidates, qualified to endorse anybody you want. So I think chief is on the state, but those who are gazetted sitting on skins back home, the Supreme Court has hacked them and said that they cannot endorse candidates. Accountability. I think I've said several times in my statement that the MPP must leave office in order that they can be held accountable to the people of Ghana. Accountability cuts both ways. You must not only hold those who are going out accountable, but when you come into office, you must hold your own people accountable. Justice must not be selective. And everywhere I've gone to the polling stations, our grassroots tell me, it says President Mahama, this time there shall be no father for all. And that people who have chopped our money must be held accountable. If the MPP stay in government, they will cover up everything that they've done these last 8 years. Nobody will be held accountable. And that's why the people of Ghana must let them get off the seats and let somebody come and audit what they have done over the 8 years and hold them accountable for it. And I can assure you, in black and white, and I hope this is the last time I'll be asked that question, anybody who has misappropriated the monies or resources of the people of Ghana illegally will be held to account from the Ghana. This is as emphatic as I can put it. But as I've said, while we're holding them accountable, if we come into office and our own people start doing the same thing, we shall hold them to the same standard of account. So I think that's all of the 2 questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, our time is up. We want everybody to remain seated. Only the chiefs and the queen mothers will come up. Please, we have an official photographer to take the photograph. Do not come forward. Kindly remain where you are. Only the official photographer will do that. Please, the chiefs. Now, this evening we have a dinner. We will have more opportunity to have an interaction at that point. If there is any of us here who have not received your ticket yet, please contact the organizers at the back. And
the dinner is at LLC. If you want the location, you can see Anti-Phenomena for the tickets. LCC, and it's €100 per ticket. Again, we have issued some envelopes around. If you have the money available, can you put it in the envelope? We'll come out and pick them up.
Please, kindly remain seated. While we take the photograph, right after His Excellency takes the photograph with the chiefs and the queen mothers, the representatives from France and Austria, you were listening in the morning. We will have the opportunity with you as well. And we want to acknowledge the presence of delegates from UK, led by the Deputy Chapter Secretary, Comrade Awudu, and the youth organizer from the Freddy. We are very grateful. Can you give us a wave? Thank you very much. Oh, I missed Eric. Sorry. Thank you very much. Yes.
When you were in field. It's just missing a good one.
Seated. That's why I said we have the official photographer. Kindly take your seat. Can we get seated, please? France, where are you? Please take a seat. Okay. Oscar, are you here?
I'm one of them from US.
No, there's a one official. Here's the seats. You have to take this one. When they finish.
Please, France, just move forward. We are about to close. France. Follow. France. France, can you please? So thank you very much to our kings and chiefs. Thank you very much to the king and chiefs. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can we please take our seat? Now, France, the representative from France.
Ilias, let's walk on down.
Somebody can even fall down.
Maybe you see a normal protocol. I don't know.
Please, can we take
phone man and